You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Williams. How are you doing? Can y'all believe it is already December? I can't believe how fast this whole year flew by. Nevertheless, here we are. I usually feel like January is not the new year for me. It's the calendar new year, but it doesn't energetically feel like the new year. But this year, it does. This year, January feels like there are some big things popping. So we'll talk about that later. Right now, we are entering into December. December is feeling like a very intense month. There is a lot of shedding. Sag season is hopefully providing some clarity on the things that we don't want to do anymore, that we no longer align with, the circumstances, people, the way we spend money, all the things, and asking us to follow something that feels like bliss, something that expands us, expands our minds and the way we see life. And then by Capricorn season, if we honor that expansion, we should feel locked in and ready to take some forward movement and long money action. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this new year. Yeah, it's feeling good. It's feeling like a win. So let's talk about the vibrations of the week ahead. Sunday, November 30th, Venus in Scorpio is trining Neptune retrograde in Pisces at the 29th degree, the anaretic degree, the planet of beauty, relationships, money, and values in a harmonious, flowing relationship conversation with the planet of the spiritual realm, dreams, delusion, dissolution, romance, compassion, all the things, creativity. First and foremost, some of us can start the week off feeling a little low key, maybe a little melancholy, maybe we're a little sad that this week flew by. And we got to go back to work. We got to hit it tomorrow. And we're just like, look, let me get my last minute, last day of rest. For some of us, we woke up with vivid dreams. I had a very vivid dream, but you know what else is new? A lot of spiritual downloads could have been had this weekend, possible creative breakthroughs and breadcrumbs. Just a feeling of wanting to snuggle and be low key. It got really cold in Houston and Texas for us this morning. So was a real low key feeling type of day, a little gloomy. And for some of us, this Venus trine Neptune is a situation where we are finally seeing something for what it is. So last night, late in the night, we had an opposition between Venus in Scorpio and Uranus in Taurus, which allowed us to see something or realize something about money, finances, relationships, dynamics in relationships, relationships and money together, like how money could be used against us or to win us or buy us back in a certain way. Just some type of situation with money, finances, self worth, relationships, commitments, all the things, financial security, invisible strings, and all that shit. By today, we're starting to see some type of illusion or deception melt away, and we're starting to see something for what it is. The veil feels like it's been pulled down, mask off. We're like, oh my God, I'm starting to really see like what type of shit you owe, right? So we are in a space where we're still in the Scorpio energy, we're getting into Sagittarius, so we're looking at the things that we choose to believe, but we're also starting to want things to shed and dissolve. We're looking at these deep hidden situations, people like there's just secrets and stuff coming up, and we're starting to want that shit to dissolve. So we could be seeing that this week. We could be ready to let things dissolve in relationships, finances, the way that our routines are structured, projects, business deals. This could be anything. I know I woke up yesterday like, you know what? It's something going to change around here between the relationship with me and my kids. So the way I want to do things is changing. The way you want to do things could be changing. Perhaps you want to let things go that feel tight and confining and restrictive, or these unspoken obligations or spoken obligations that we want to no longer be a part of, certain promises and agreements that we have that we don't want to really honor anymore. They just don't really fit where we're going. And perhaps we're at some sort of crossroad. The 29th degree is a final exam degree. Maybe we're going to decide this is the year that we change something. We're going to pass this spiritual test. We see something as a test, or maybe we're not ready. Maybe we need to repeat a cycle and continue to be in a certain situation and certain dynamics, which is not necessarily a bad thing because, after all, repeated cycles do garner more wisdom. And there are more lessons that we need to learn in a certain situation. So we are where we are and we're where we're meant to be. However, we want to just know and acknowledge that this is on us. If we are choosing to repeat a path, we don't want to go into no victim stories. We ain't bringing another victim story, hopefully, into 2026. You could bring your repeated cycle, but the victim story has got to stop. You are allowing yourself to be in the situation. Such and such ain't putting you through something. Such and such ain't doing this to you, doing X, Y, and Z. You're choosing. Even if you don't want to choose, you're still choosing. You're making a disempowered choice, or you are choosing to sit in something and see more. Perhaps you just need to extract more, and that's fine. But stand on your decisions and take accountability for where your life is right now. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if it stings a little bit, you know the vibes. By 2 o'clock this afternoon, Venus moved on from Scorpio and into the sign of Sagittarius. Now, Venus has moved from her place of exile. She's moved from a deeply introspective and cautious vibe into a boho free spirit. Venus in Sagittarius is a freedom loving, wise woman sage. I love Venus in Sagittarius, and it's probably because my Venus sign is in Sagittarius, but this is a Venus who wants to be on a quest, who wants to learn things about the world and about herself. So this week we could begin to feel this sense of renewal and realizing where we may have been doing too much for people, holding on to things that wasn't ours to carry. Perhaps we've been stressed out when Venus was in Scorpio. We were seeing the origins of that and the deep repressed emotions and things that we've been holding on to have security. Things that left us stressed out, burnt out, resentful, trying to save people, trying to connect people to their own healing, trying to transform people. And that's not our responsibility. We're noticing that and we're putting that shit down. We are seeking adventure. We could be ready to expand, ready to welcome the things that expand the spirit versus feeling like we need to hold somebody down, be a ride or die, being in situations that feel constricting, that have us feeling weighted down. We're getting off the struggle bus in this Sagittarius season. We are getting off the bus. We are giving people back their baggage. We are releasing our own baggage. And we're over trying to heal or fix people. Some of us are. Some of us are realizing that love doesn't have to hurt. It doesn't have to burn. It doesn't have to be heavy. We don't have to struggle in love. That shit is a wrap. December is a graduation to individuation. We are releasing enmeshment, toxic relationship patterns, toxic spending patterns, obligated to buy things for people, codependent caping. Hey, we retiring the cape because we got things to do. You know, we can't walk this quest that we want to be on with all that baggage on our back. So we releasing that. Tuesday, December 2nd. Venus in Sagittarius will sextile Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree and 55 minutes. Sextiles are of the nature of Venus. They are friendly, they provide opportunities and perhaps an opportunity to partner up or collaborate with somebody or to be in harmony in a certain way. Venus, sextile, and Pluto is providing us with an opportunity to transform our own values and our relationship to our own self. We are recognizing strange situations and we are gravitating out of those, many of us, and gravitating towards more cool and expansive situations, things that feel fun and adventurous, quirky individuals, nerds and geeks that are like us and are like minded, higher minded conversations are being had, and things that feel a little more open and adventurous. Having these deep, profound conversations could be on the menu for us. We can find ourselves witnessing faith and spirituality in new ways, connecting with new ways to be in communities of faith, seeing God and the divine in a new way, linking up and going to spiritual situations that look nothing like we've been taught that spirituality was supposed to look like. So this is a very soulmate, soul tribe type of energy. We are loving on the people who love us and being in energy where we don't have to explain or disclaim ourselves to the people that we're around. We no longer feel odd, awkward, or crazy because they crazy too. So definitely some good vibes coming in. Geek Squad, tree huggers, dancing in the rain, and the gazers of the moon are all connecting with each other. I love it. You guys are my people. December 4th, we're going to have a full moon in Gemini at 13 degrees and 3 minutes of Gemini, and the sun will be in Sagittarius. The moon is in Gemini. And this is going to possibly be a full circle moment or a climax, some type of realization over this past summer. This could be illuminating our need to expand, our desire to individuate from certain dynamics and certain people or processes. This could illuminate our expanding philosophies and belief systems and our ever changing spiritual connections and, our relationship to the divine. Our walk with God is looking different for some of us. Our worldviews are changing, but with those changes, we're going to also see some changes in the people we feel connected to, the people we want to be around, our daily routines and schedules, where we be at on a regular is going to change for a lot of us. Who we communicate with on a regular basis is going to change because we're going to kind of fall out of alignment. And we're already seeing that. Relationships are shedding, dynamics in relationships are changing. People are naturally outgrowing each other. People are talking less to some people and talking more to others. We are all, most of us, in this transformative process. We're in process. And as we change and evolve, so does our ways of thinking, communicating, and the people we tend to gravitate towards. That changes too. So we could also be realizing feelings of guilt and obligation that we may have had with people who are naturally in our immediate environment, the people who we live with, neighbors, peers, siblings, communities, extended family. These dynamics between us and the people that we are in culture with could feel odd. It could feel, some of us could feel like, we're leaving people behind or we're selling out or we are moving in different directions, and we could feel like we're abandoning people, or we just could feel guilty, or maybe other people putting guilt trips on us or anything like that, trying to bring us back into the normal atmosphere that we're wanting to migrate out of. And so there were some small clues about some changes in us that happened last May 26, 2025 to be exact. When we had a new moon in Gemini, we started to see little breadcrumbs about how we were changing and evolving and how our authentic self was wanting to come out and to be expressed, which was probably different for a lot of us than the masks that we were wearing in certain environments. And now these seeds are coming full circle, or they are coming to a climax. There are people, environments, things that we have been doing that we can no longer pretend that we want to do anymore. There are people that we can no longer pretend we want to be around. It feels stifling. We feel claustrophobic in certain environments now. It's almost like we're in situations where we're not even speaking the same language to certain people. It just, the things just don't match up. And some environments are just proving that they're not essential. It's not essential soil for us to grow in. Growing in a way, and we need to be in different spaces. There are some environments where we only feel comfortable enough to play small and humble, and that's coming to a head because we are being called, and where we're being called, we no longer can play those little small and humble games to make other people comfortable. So we're going to start seeing a lot of turbulence, especially for people who don't like things to be turbulent. Uranus is in Taurus shaking up the spot. By December 5th, Mars in Sagittarius is going to trine Chiron in Aries. And now we are about to step into our power. And we're realizing some things. All the things that people could have said about us that was wrong with us has now proven to have always been our magic. And as soon as we started owning something, we started losing people. As soon as we started accepting ourselves in a certain way, people started tripping. And that is because we have never been for everyone. We're not supposed to get along with everybody. Everybody not supposed to want to vibe with us. If you are getting along with everybody, you ain't living your authentic self. You ain't being true to who you are. It's some people who just not gonna like you. It don't matter what you say, they're not gonna like you. And if you're walking that path, you're starting to see it's some people who don't like you. They don't like what you stand for. They don't like the way you look. They just don't like you. They can't hear you. And you never were supposed to be in relationship with these people. So now your mask is off. They don't like you. Fine. Everything you thought was wrong about you was your light all along. That quirk that you were criticized for, that thing that people used to ridicule you about, some of those things grown ass people, grown ass adults used to ridicule you and say things about you when you were a child. People you trusted and depended on could have said some harmful things to you that broke you or wounded you in a soul level. And they said those things to you and about you so that you wouldn't know and that you wouldn't believe who you really were. And you believe something different. And then from that wounded place in your soul, you started attracting other people who reinforced the lie. Friends, teachers, mentors, play mamas, communities, right? Romantic partners, baby daddies. You have been entertaining people who have been trying to dim you the whole time, who have been trying to humble you this whole time to keep you confused and existing in your soul wound, to have you operating at a lower version of yourself in the soul wound. And you have been talking to and trying to convince the wrong people to hear you who were committed to misunderstanding you. They were betting and banking on you to not really see yourself for who you are. But those things that people said, it never really sat right with you. There was something about things that people have said about you that it just kind of disturbs your spirit because your spirit was never in agreement of the things that people said about you and the things that people tried to convince your mind about your own essence. Your spirit knew all along that that was a lie because the truth is you are the fucking archetype. And deep down, you always knew it, just like they always knew it. And every person you are losing right now, you are losing them because they are beginning to realize that you are realizing your own magic and they can no longer control you or convince you that you are flawed. And they know you're about to kill it. How they know? They got that feeling. Word to saying Kanye. So, respectfully, my awkward magical friend, fuck being humble. You tell all the haters to watch the throne. Cause that crown that they trying to keep you from is yours. And you about to take that shit, you gonna put it on your head, and you gonna shine like a trillion watts like you supposed to, cause can't nothing stop the sun from shining. Okay? By December 6th, Mercury in Scorpio is going to trine Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. A lot of shit starting to make sense. A lot of them passive aggressive statements starting to they coming in clear, okay? Them backhanded compliments coming in clear, crystal fucking clear from people who you thought was solid. Them family haters and frenemies is exposed. We even see in our own toxic and hating tendencies, how we feel about other people and the things that we say about ourselves that are mimicking the haters and the little seeds they've been planting in our heads. But now we are shedding toxic mindsets because there isn't a need for jealousy when you're in your own lane and you're in your own bag. Because can't nobody do nothing like you. Why are you competing with other people? There is only one you, just like there's only one them. And the beauty about connecting the soul tribes is that every unique individual comes together and they bring something different to the table to make this magical universe, which is where I feel like the collective is headed. We're starting to realize that there is no need for jealousy because I don't care if we're standing in the same spot selling the same goddamn lemonade. Nobody gonna sell lemonade like you, and nobody gonna sell lemonade like them. So we might as well just all come together and be motherfucking amazing, okay? And with this trine between Mercury and Jupiter, we are understanding just how big we are, how abundant we are and are meant to be. We are starting to connect to big ideas and big mindsets. And so we're starting to attract big because when you start thinking big, you start attracting big blessings and big things, okay? And some really big rings. And this is a great time for doing business and making big plans. I mean, vision board time. This is the time to think about what you're calling in this new adventure, in this new quest in your life. This is a great time to find mentors because there's always somebody who knows more than us, who who are many steps ahead of us, and there's just so much to learn. Instead of being jealous of people and where they are, man, connect to somebody who knows more than you. Stimulate your mind, Craig. This is a good time to launch new things, a good time to plan travel engagements, workshops. Think big, think cosmically, okay? Realize your own divine magic because you're a big deal. You're meant to be a big deal. And I hope that this planted some beautiful seeds, and I hope that some amazing things come full circle just from you hearing this week's podcast. So that's all the astrology for the week. Before this year is over, may we realize and release confining, judgmental, hating ass individuals and situations. May we step into higher timelines and step into our magic. Step on your throne. Say yes to the connections and the workshops and the communities that hear you well, that love you fiercely, that align with every part of you, not just some of you, all of you, where you don't have to turn to the side and, say something in a certain way to be accepted. All of you is magical. I love y'all. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.